Bam! Hey, Bill McDonald. I did that to catch your attention, by the way. Anyway, I'm excited to be here. Hopefully you're excited to be here too. I'm excited that you came and opted into this video. I want to tell you a little bit about myself first, and then we'll get into it. All right? I've spent 22 years in the military, 13 of those years as a U.S. Army Special Forces Green Beret. I've been an athlete for 20 years, and I've studied fitness for 20 years. And what I've done over that time is I've collected as much information as possible, I've participated in as many sports as possible, and I've competed at the competitive level in a number of different sports. Anywhere from cross country to track and field, soccer, volleyball, powerlifting, parkour. I've done a myriad of different sports, and I've performed very well in those sports. And what I've done is I've taken all that information, as you'll learn, put it together to provide athletes with an ability to get the edge. So this isn't your traditional type of training or any of that type of stuff. These are things that a lot of people overlook, a lot of people miss, but these are things that I guarantee will give you that edge over the competition. And so what you've done here is you've opted into my series of videos that over the next 12 months you'll get access to. And so each one of these videos is going to talk about one specific thing that you can focus on, and it'll give you that extra edge. And what I tell people is this, what I do with the athletes I work with, and I work with wrestlers, and I work with volleyball players. I work with an entire rugby team that just won the SoCal National Championship, or the SoCal Championships, and placed 5th at the Nationals. And that is, what's the difference between a 79 and an 80%, or an 89 and a 90% on a test? And the answer is the same any way you look at it. And that's one letter grade. So although that's 1%, it's the difference between getting a B and an A, or a C and a B. And that's the difference from what separates number 1 from number 2. In a race, it could be a tenth of a second, right? So anyway, let's get started. Let's get into it. Today I'm going to be talking about breathing. Breathing is a fundamental practice that even athletes don't fully understand and get correct. But it's so critical in your performance. And so as long as you follow what I'm about to explain to you, I guarantee that your game will step up. Your ability to perform at that next level will step up. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to start with analogies. I love analogies. It's a way for you to visualize and kind of get the picture that I'm talking about. Okay? So before that, I just want you to take this little bit of information. Okay? Most people, they're mouth breathers, and they breathe off the top third of their lungs. You know what that means? That means they are only taking and exchanging about a third of the oxygen that they could in their lungs. All right? So just think about that. You could be out there doing whatever sport you're doing and missing out on 2/3 of that oxygen, which means you're going to fatigue faster, you're going to get tired faster, your muscles are going to get sore faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to get back some of that oxygen carrying capability. Okay? So what I want you to visualize is a movie theater, right? So if you had a movie theater, just say a big one, you know, a 12 megaplex movie theater, and the movies got out, and there was only one door. And all these people wanted to go in that door to go see the movies, and the movies just got out, and people want to get out. What would happen at that door? Be some congestion, right? All these people trying to come in, and all these people trying to go out. Wouldn't be very effective. Some people get out, some people get in, but in the end it'd be kind of a pain, right? Well, that's what happens when you breathe in and out of your mouth, which is what most of us do. Okay, now if you take that same place and you put an exit on one side and an entrance on the other, let's just say they're double doors. And when the movies got out, you'd have a smooth flow of traffic on one side, and you'd have a smooth flow of traffic on the other side getting in. And that's the first principle that I want you to take away. You got to learn to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. All right? And I'm sure you can understand the analogy of the people coming in and going out. It will open up the ability to bring in oxygen and get rid of that carbon dioxide way better. And that'll take you to the next level. Now, with that said, we got to think about that mechanism of breathing. Right? So hopefully most of you have seen the bellow for a fireplace. Okay, it's one of those things you use to stoke up the fire. Maybe you've seen it from your parents or your grandparents because they're not used very often. I get it. But what I want you to picture is this. It's got this big old sack, right? And when you pull those handles open, this thing opens up just like your lungs. But to pull that air in, you got this little hole at the other end, right? And the reason why that hole is so small is to create air pressure, right? So as you pull those handles open, because it's so small, pulls that air in, creates pressure, and it fills up that bag. And when you push it, the amount of air pressure that pushes out, it allows you to stoke the fire. Now, if you took that thing and you cut it with a hacksaw so that the whole opening was this big, what you'd find out is there wasn't a lot of air pressure, right? So the fire wouldn't get stoked. Well, most of the time what we do is we breathe through our mouth open like this. If you put your hand up just like this, just do it with me. Go ahead. I want you to check it out. Feel how much air goes there. Not a whole lot. It's probably wet, it's hot. But what I want you to do is I want you to purse your lips like this. And then push. And what you're going to feel is a heck of a lot more air pressure going in there. Now, the cool thing is we were created with that natural air pressure in our nostrils. Right? We got these little holes right here. So when we breathe, we should be breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth, but through pursed lips. And what you'll figure out is you get a heck of a lot more oxygen in, a heck of a lot more carbon dioxide out. If you just learn to do that alone, again, you're going to step it up to the next level. And what you're going to find out is your ability to last longer in the game, your ability for your muscles to not fatigue and not burn is going to increase dramatically. So what I want you to do is I want you to take, because it takes a lot of time to break those habits. I mean, if you spent your whole lifetime breathing out of your mouth, you're not going to change it in a day. So what I want you to do is I want you to purposefully focus on breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And to make it maximally effective, what you're going to need to do is practice this throughout the day. Not while you're engaged in a sport, because at that time you're going to revert back to the old habits. You got to make it a consistent thing, and you've got to do it for 30 days to change that habit. So whether you're sitting at class, whether you're driving to school, whether you're shopping, watching TV, I want you to purposely start to practice that, and I want you to practice it in a rhythm. Okay, so that rhythm means that as you're breathing in, you're trying to take in that oxygen in more than one respiration. So it kind of looks like this. And after I show it to you, I want you to practice it so you kind of get it in your brain. What we're doing here is we're doing some kinesthetic learning, we're doing some visual, and we're doing some auditory learning. I want to stimulate all those senses, all right? So what we're going to do is this. It's going to be like a, and then, and what that does is it takes away the panic that we get when we want to get some oxygen, right? And so it takes it away because we're not trying to go, right? Because what happens is we're like, I can't get enough in, I can't get enough out. But when you put it in a rhythm and you kind of slow it down a little bit, what happens is it tells your brain, oh, you know, I can do this. You know, I can do it a little bit better. It takes a little bit of the panic away. So it looks kind of like this. I want you to do it with me as we're doing this, all right? So it's going to be, that could be rhythm of 2 in, 2 out, 3 in, 3 out, whatever's comfortable for you. But what I want you to do is I want you to commit. This is your action item, right? This is what it's going to take for you to get to that next level and get that edge, all right? I'm only doing one of these a month. Why? Because I want you to focus on that one technique. I want you to master it. Once you master that, we'll move on to the next one. And I guarantee that if you do it in this method here, what you'll find is your performance dramatically increases and you start to outperform the other guys on your team and your competitors and things like that. All right? So again, it's in. And you should be doing that at all times. Okay? Great. So that's the tip for this month. I want you to love it, live it, and breathe it. All right? Do that for me, and I'll see you next month.